Okay, we're going to do a little review. So here's all the stuff we learned in the class. So up here is our menu bar way on top, option bar right around here, tools over here, and we got palettes that are over here. And you can get more palettes by going to your window and picking whatever you want palette you'd like to have more of. So let's start with opening files. So go to File, Open. You can go get anything you want here. So let's go for, thought I had something here that would be good. I'm just gonna go, we'll just open up this. So you can open up any file you want. There it is. Let's get rid of that. And you can make new files by going to File, New. You can make whatever you want. I prefer inches. So let's make it 8 by 11. And we want to make it 300 dpi because that's what I like to work with. RGB is fine. All the rest of this is good. Great. So there's an image there. So let's open up one more. I closed accidentally in this one. There it is. Anyway, okay, so that's all the little stuff about the interface with Photoshop, just to recap. And we got all our palettes, the history palette, which is one of my favorites over here. We can, do stuff on our image. Let's get the paintbrush. So I can paint away. But then I go right back to where I was to begin with. Okay, so anyway, that's history. My layers are over here. So let's say I want to work on just the background, pick that up. And it just covers the background. Which actually makes it kind of a neat effect. It makes it look more deserty, more sandy, and interesting. Anyway, so that's that. And history, I can go back again to when I opened it. There it is. The brush tool, which you've been looking at me paint with here, is just simply that. It's you get the brush tool, pencil. They're all similar. The mixer brush, this all comes into play if you want to create more, but we're not really creating, we're just editing, so you don't need that. But the brush tool, the main thing about that is you got the softness. Right now it's pretty soft. We can go to really hard. So to show you what that looks like, let's go to right here. So there's a hard brush, obviously. And we don't want to do that. Command Z, go back. And then the softness, the soft brush. Okay. And you can make the brush bigger and smaller by this, or on your keypad with the parentheses, you can toggle up and toggle down. You see my little guy there, it goes bigger, and you can make it smaller by toggling with the parentheses, one left and right, up and down, okay? The zoom tool, very handy tool. If I want to zoom in, I just click, drag, I can get zoomed in. The hand tool lets me move it around while I'm zoomed in. Very nice and convenient. Cherry picker tool here, the eyedrop, picks out colors. Watch the colors over here. I pick that one. Let's go to this one. So it picks colors for you. And again, I don't use that a whole lot unless I'm doing painting or really tight color correcting. So that's what I would use that for. Also, we want to make sure I talk about image size. And this one happens to be a 9 by 10, 150. So 150 is workable. I usually like 300. So eventually I might change this to 300, or I think for the class projects, I made them all around 150 so they wouldn't get too large. But we can easily change that by just highlighting that, putting in 300, and now it's changed. It's going to be a much bigger file, but you'll see more detail. And when we want to save two of these of all our images at some point, because it's nice to have images at 300 dpi and images at 72 dpi, because the lower res is stuff you might want to use for the web. So to do that, we obviously just go right back to image size and this time just make it 72. I'm not going to bother with that, so we'll just leave it the way it was. Also, canvas size is important. If you want to do more, just give it more size, so you can go do whatever you want to do more. Let's say this is not the right size for your publication. You want to make it whatever that's going to be. You put it in image and go to canvas size, and let's just show you here. I want to make it by 11. So I'm going to center my dot at top, so all the stuff comes down on the bottom. All the new palette will be down here, the new document space. Hit OK, and you can see there it got more space on the bottom. Okay, so if I wanted to put it all around it, just make it all around bigger, I could leave it right in the middle. So let's show you that canvas size. I'm just going to leave it right there. Let's make it 11, and let's make this 10, and you should get a little bit more everywhere. Boom, there you go. And you can see more of the flag that was actually hidden. Interesting. While we're talking about that, we can rotate our canvas by going into image rotation. You can just do it like this. That would be 90 degrees. If you want to go arbitrary, you go here and just type in what you want. Just does a little spin for you. Okay, so that's that. Anything else up here we want to? Okay, adjustments. Remember, we have brightness, levels, and curves. To make it lighter and dark, I like levels. Levels does that. You can see darker, lighter. That's my favorite. You look for what you like, though. If you like to use brightness and contrast, go for it. If you like curves, go for it. The color ones are here. I usually like both of these are interesting, but I usually use these too. I don't really go for vibrance much, but I do color balance and saturation. Let's do one with color balance. So you can see, let's make him more purpley. There you go. So they're there. They're easy to work with. Just do it and save it. Let's see what else we got. And I mentioned these earlier, posterize and all that. Those are fun things to do, but you go for that yourselves and look at those on your own time. Okay, so let's do let's see, swatches. That's interesting. If you want to make another color here for my brush, you just pick a color, hit OK. There it is. Okay, let's try another color. Let's do this one. There it is. So there is a color palette over here. So if we wanted to go in there and find our color, that's under swatches. And as you can see here, you can go in there and do all kinds of different colors. Where's that at? CMYK color. Okay, there it is. And then that gives you all the same thing that we had over here by double clicking. Okay, so there's plenty of color for you to pick from. And that's interesting. Paint bucket. What's with that? Let's look at the paint bucket. Okay, for the paint bucket, we can go switch to another picture. So the paint bucket gives you a blasted color. Let's look up here. It's at 100% opacity, which is good, normal. You can have other things you want to do up here, multiply other modes. Let's just do normal. And I got it set for 50. So boom, boom, gives you a big blast of color. If you set it, let's go back a couple, boom, boom. If you set it for a little less, let's make it 2. You get a little bit less. Okay, and also let's talk about the underneath the paint bucket is the gradient tool. Now the gradient tool, you got it set for this already here. If you want to change your color, you can just come in here and click on the bucket, click on this. Let's go with blue. So we changed that color. It's okay now. So when you put the gradient tool, it covers the whole thing usually. So to use this properly, you might want to come in here and select areas. Like let's select there. Let's make our tolerance a little bit more than that. Let's make it about 60. So maybe select the background a little bit. So now let's put the gradient on and see what it does. Gradient tool. Okay, boom. So it works a little differently. So that's the gradient and the paint bucket. All right, let's talk about selecting. I'm going to open up another image. I'm going to go with this guy. So let's say I just want to select a little area to work with, so I don't mess around with other areas. I can just come in with the lasso tool and select a little area here like that. Remember, if I select one area like this and I hold down the shift key, I can do another area. Or I can go up here and just hit the add-on key. And then I don't have to touch anything. I can just add on. If I want to go back in and just minus something, I can hit the option key and minus it. Or I can do the minus key over here. That's the lasso select tool. We also have the polygonal, which is the little clicky like this. Tick, tick, tick. That's selected now. I can go into, let's go to the magic select tool. Let's set it high so it really shows something here. 150. Wow, a lot got selected there, didn't it? Let's see look what I selected. Oh, wow. Okay, let's go to the marquee rectangular tool to select something. I didn't select anything yet. Okay, look at, there's a square. Perfect square or rectangle. And also you have the circle. Adding right onto that. Let's go into not add on. There's a circle. So I want to try and circle the globe. By hitting the shift key, I can move my selection around. So it lets me get a more accurate selection. And let's say I want to select right there. And let's say I want to make that globe a little darker. Go to my image, adjustment, levels. Let's make it darker. So we got a dark globe. Cool. Okay. And then the select pen, the pen tool that you can use for selecting, you can just go around and select with the pen tool. But remember, we have to go up here and hit, make it a selection. Okay. There's a palette that has the pen tool stuff on it. You can use it, but it's much easier just to go up top here on the option bar. Okay, one other select tool that I like, I forgot to tell you about, was this one over here, which is the select brush tool. So if I click on that, you'll see I have a nice brush and I can just paint, spray, whatever, and that's what I'm selecting. So I go to the move tool, there it is.
So that's a great one to use as well.
Okay, so those are all the select, little recap of selecting. And now we want to go into, let's see, what else we got? We got to go for cropping. Do you know how to crop? I think you do, but here we go. Crop, you can either just click and drag right across, and that lets you crop. Or you can go, when you click on the crop tool, you can just bring the bars in, the handles, and pull it in. It also lets you swivel a little bit to help it out. And then there's your crop. Okay, one other thing I wanted to talk about was to fix some of this stuff by using some of your editing materials. So let's go in and we'll start out by cropping. Okay, we don't want to crop too much. Let's go right here, would be good. And then we're going to come over and crop right to this corner here. And that looks good right there. We can't really crop anymore, so I'm going to hit OK. But then I want to change this by, let's skew it. Let's go into edit and transform. It's not letting us do it. So we got to go in and select all or make it a layer. So I'm just going to select all. Now I'm going to go back over there and now it lets me do what I have to do. So I'm going to come back in here and skew this, grab the corner, grab this corner. And I'm going to grab this one. Okay, I can also come in and grab the middle portions of this by going into my edit and going into warp. So let's see right here. I wanted there's a little bit showing here. I want to pull that over a little more. And we're good everywhere else. Just hit, go ahead and hit return. There it is. And we're going to go select, deselect. And that's how we would straighten out that image. Healing brushes. This is the spot healing brush. Let's see if that's working. Okay, we gotta make sure we're not in that. Okay, here we go. Boom. It works pretty good. And then we also have for fixing the clone stamp tool. So let's take a image right from here, option, click, and you can just, it'll start painting what you have in the background. Let's do it again. Click, go right here, click. Okay, so there you go. That's the clone tool and the magic healing, spot healing brush. Okay, what else do we want to recap? That's that. We did color adjusting. We did brightness and level. Okay, ding. Layers. Let me just go over those really quick. Remember the layers, it's like having sheets of paper. If we take away all the sheets of paper, you can see what we're starting with. It's just a flag, right? Each one of these is another layer. The layers move around by, you can put one on top of the other, which will not show or show what you want to see. So by moving it up there, we missed some of that blue that was in this image. So let's put it back. You can see it. There it came back. Let's put the flag on top and we lose our guy. All right, so those are layers. Layers are great. I love layers. While we're talking about this stuff, let's go back over here and dodge and burn tool. There's the dodge tool. Let's make it a little smaller. Okay, the dodge tool will make it brighter. Let's see, here's that we got it set for shadows. Let's lightening that shadow. If I want to set it for highlights, it'll get the highlights. And midtones, obviously we'll get midtones. Then they use the burn tool to darken things. So right now it's set for shadows. Let's set it for midtones. Yeah, kind of darkened up that spot there. Let's set it for highlights. So it darkens just the highlights. So that's a nice tool to have. And then the other one on here is the sponge healing, which is saturation. It does color. So we'll go over here and show you that. So we want to, let's say his face, you want to make more powerful. Look at that. It's really saturating it. We don't want that though. Put it back. Went too far. Okay, so those are those. We did talk a little bit about the smudge tool and blur tool. Smudge tool just smudges it just like you think. That's kind of cool, but we don't want that. It's more for painting. Okay, so then let's go finally get over here and talk about shapes. So we got nothing set for this. Let's put some color in there, and then there's a shape. We want to make a square. Let's make a square. And if we want to make a line, can make a line. The arrowhead comes from over here when you go into your tool. So if I want to make this beforehand, I come over here and say, I don't want a arrowheads. I took that off. So now when I make my next shape, it's just a line. And as I said before, you can also make shapes with the pen tool. And there's a shape right there. Okay. And let's see, I think that's about it as far as, is there anything else I'm going to show you? Oh, let's do a quick type stuff. So let's get rid of all this stuff. Where's my layers? Just start throwing them away. If you want to just get rid of them. And there we go. Okay, then type. This is not impact, but I just typed it in anyway. In fact, I want to get impact, so I'm going to go here and go find impact. Let's make it super big. There you go. There's our type. Now, if I want to do some fun stuff with this, I can go into layer styles and I can bevel and emboss it. That looks pretty cool. I can put a little stroke over it. It's a big stroke. Who cares? Leave it on there. I can drop a shadow. Let's see, layer styles. I always lose it. There it is. Okay, layer styles. Let's see. Drop shadow. It doesn't look like it's very far away, so let's make it farther. And there's my drop shadow. And I can even go in here and put a gradient in there. Layer styles. There it is. If I want to change what that looks like, I can just go in here and let's make it a different color. And there you go. Pretty cool stuff. And we can also, while we're in our type tool, you can go over here and put an arc on it. There it is. Let's make it a little smaller because it's kind of big now. Okay, so there's all our stuff that we recapped. I think that's all I talked about. I'm sure there's something I missed, but we can go over that in class. And if anybody has any questions, we can talk more about it. But I think I kind of went over everything really fast, which is okay. So that's what we're just reviewing. All right. So if you have any questions, let me know.